Welcome to part 2 of our interview with John Teasley. He is averaging over 100 pickup and deliveries per day. Your pickup and delivery revenue is grown by 19 times in just 3 years. It's just so exciting to see this industry just being a shooting star. What's your secret with customer retention? What do you attribute those numbers to?
You guys are to credit for a good part of that. I think one of the things that I really appreciate about your software, like I mentioned earlier, is it tracks the order all the way through the system. It says, okay, is it with the driver? Has it been unloaded? Is it on a shelf? Is it sitting in a washing machine? Is it sitting in a dryer? When there are questions, inevitably people are processing this laundry. On occasion, they may make a mistake. Probably more occasions, the customer thinks something happened that didn't actually happen. So by having that software to where we can say, okay, a customer says they're missing this or they're missing that, we can go in and look at the time it was supposed to be in the washer. We can look on the cameras and investigate and see what happens. It's not foolproof. Not every time can we get the exact answer, but we can oftentimes, I'd say 80-90% of the time we can. And I make a point of when we do have issues, we go back to the person who processed the laundry and say, what happened with the procedures, and determine did they not follow a procedure. We have the coaching and follow up, and I'd say 9 times out of 10, they get the message. They make sure they're following the procedure. We do the additional training so it doesn't happen again. And I think eliminating those mistakes is huge in customer retention. Just making sure that you're taking care of people's laundry. It's a trust business. They're trusting you with their personal items and following their instructions, and then just returning it on time. It's simple, but it's not easy. It's easier said than done. So I think just driving that discipline home has helped us a lot.
Inside the software, everything is like wet cement. It tracks everything from who washed it to when they dropped it off, time stamped, who has custody over it. And we've had it so many times where a customer thinks something happened. I mean, it's kind of like if you have a maid service and something disappears, maybe something got taken, but you don't want to do that. But customers do the same thing. They say, hey, where's my jacket? In their mind, that's a reality, even if it didn't actually happen. Right. So just, we take the initial weight, the final weight. So we're able to see if items are missing or if there's a discrepancy.
If you don't have any evidence, then then it's hard to dispute that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. When you got into pickup and delivery, I remember when you first got started, you had sort of smaller service areas. When did you go full throttle on pickup and delivery?
The stats you cited earlier are true. It's grown a lot, but it is that sort of, I guess, hockey stick, and that didn't happen initially. But I remember there was, a few months in there where it's like, okay, we get a couple orders here. And it was a slow burn at first. But then as the awareness increases, it ramps up. So you do have to be patient with it most of the time. I mean, some people get struck by golden lightning, and from day one they're doing more they can do. But in our case, it was slow at first. We wanted to look at profitability. I didn't want to be driving 20 miles away, and it just wasn't going to make sense. That's kind of the finance brain inside of me. I would say a big turning point for us is we got a large home health client who had lots of seniors. We go to seniors' apartments, homes around the area. And so we got that when we won that client, they were in several areas that we didn't serve, but there was enough customers there to where say, okay, we're going to open up several new hours. I'd say that single client caused us to really sort of expand a little more quickly than we would have otherwise done without them.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like you're driving there anyways, you're already there. Might as well pick up as much laundry as you can. I find activity breeds activity. Your vehicle's on the road and you got all these things working for you. A lot of times it takes time to get traction. The way we saw it at Super Suds was the laundromat helped pay for the wash and fold. The wash and fold helped pay for the pickup and delivery. And now the pickup and delivery makes more than both of those combined. I know there's a lot of different options out there for software and business solutions for wash and fold and pickup and delivery. I'm just curious as far as why you chose curbside laundries.
I recall looking at 3 or 4 options, including curbside, and then relatively quickly narrowed it down to 2. At the time, the 2 factors that probably played the biggest role for me is you had an integrated POS system, so it wasn't just a laundry tracking system and then you'd have to go over to this other system to get paid. It was all integrated into one system. So that was a big one for me. I wanted an integrated system. The other option that looked good was they were requesting a royalty payment. I just didn't like that. I was like, okay, you're providing a service, you're doing a certain amount. I get this monthly subscription fee, but to charge a royalty on top of that, it just didn't seem right. I mean, I'm the one doing the business, and you guys offered a flat fee, and in addition, you guys were laundry owners and know the business. I mean, that was huge. I'd say those were kind of the top three reasons.
Yeah, that's interesting. And still today, there's still a hidden royalty for other companies. So our competitor right now, it's like timeshare, high pressure, sign right now and you get all this stuff. Right. But what they don't tell you, or maybe they do, is they take 4% on the credit card transactions, which is just robbery. And that you never want to give up percentages, which is basically a royalty, like what you're talking about. Yeah, the business background coming into this, you knew better than royalties because that is the gift that kind of keeps on giving to the software company out of your pocket. For the new laundry owner who's not making anything yet, they're like, oh, well, 4% of 0 is 0. And what they don't realize is they're giving up percentages down the road. They're mortgaging their future earning potential. You'd be paying 5 figures a year if you gave up an extra percentage. It just would be crazy. And there's no reason to pay that much money for software.
Right, exactly.
What would you say to somebody who's considering getting into pickup and delivery? What your advice to them would be?
I remember early on, I was calling you and saying, Matt, I haven't had enough customers yet. You said, give it time, give it 6 months, and you were absolutely right. I would even say, give it a year, give it time to grow. Don't expect day one it to take off, but it really takes patience and it takes effort. Obviously, you've got to get out there and market it. And I think Google is a great way to do that. Nothing like hand-to-hand combat, getting out there, knocking doors, especially commercial businesses, and just reaching out in any way you can. You got to be willing to have some capital set aside to devote to that effort until it starts paying for itself.
We get calls from different clients because everybody's situation is different. They might need to target different areas. They may have competition. They may have different specific industries nearby them. So it's a different nut to crack. There's not one size fits all. We appreciate those calls because it gives us the opportunity to help them. And look, we spend a little bit of time and it could make a big difference to their entire livelihood. I don't think there's any other software company that's out there that could say, hey, give us a call and we could help you grow your business. And I remember you used to calling quite a bit to both myself and to my brother Aaron and different people. And that's great because it shows you're a go-getter. It's like, hey, I want to crack this nut. I want to get things to the next level. And I remember talking to my brother. I go, I haven't heard from John Teasley for a little while. So we log into your software, and it's like, okay, that's the reason why. He's making money. He's doing really good. And so that is just fantastic to see. We've got clients, all different types. Some hit it right away. It does take time. Getting the website takes about 3 months to get traction. Because Google indexes and ranks websites, it's going to say we want to make sure it's not a fly-by-night company. So Google's less likely to recommend a brand new website.
Right.
The free websites just don't work that great because the SEO does take a lot of handcrafting to really target the opportunities.
One of the things that you mentioned that stuck out is you're absolutely right. You guys have been very consultative throughout the process, not just helping me when there's a technical question about the software, but you've been there to talk business, right? And say, okay, how do we market this? How do we sell this? And what should I expect? That's been a pleasant surprise that I didn't necessarily know I'd get at the beginning, but you guys have been there all along the way. And even on non-pickup and delivery issues, hiring matters or things like that. I don't want to have people calling you for everything, but you've been very generous with your time and expertise, which has been huge.
Thank you. One thing that we've been real proud to offer, we're having between 2 and 3 people per week visit Supersuds. These are different curbside laundries clients who are coming to visit Supersuds. So that's open to all of our clients from all over the country or flying out to our laundromat, seeing behind the scenes. So that's just something we wanted to remind all of our clients about because people learn all different things. And, from sitting with the driver, doing deliveries to seeing the back end, how we process things. Just curious, how are you doing the processing? Are you doing that during a third shift? Are you doing that during regular business hours?
Yeah, so mostly during a third shift. We've got a team comes in about 10 o'clock at night. We close to the public at 11, so there's a little bit of overlap. We actually now have an ironer, a 14-foot ironer. So we're doing tablecloths and linens and napkins. And that team starts at 6 a.m. We've got a separate room to process that we've quartered off. We've got a pretty big facility so that they're able to do that. But yeah, we do as much as we can overnight. We try to minimize impact to our self-service customers. So not competing for washers or dryers.
We did the same thing, a third shift at nighttime, so we're not competing as much with the customers. My advice to people is just get in, start doing wash and fold, start doing pickup and delivery, and before you know it, you start seeing these opportunities come up, and it's a beautiful thing. So yeah, just want to thank you for being on the podcast and just being a terrific operator, doing a good thing for the industry. I mean, you've grown your business tremendously, and I think that's the result of just being open to opportunities and getting in front of it and doing a great job for your customers.
Thanks, Matt. And you guys have been along the journey all along, from starting with one order to where we're at today. And it's been great that I haven't had to switch softwares, right? You can handle the small side and we haven't had any issues growing it. And we hope to continue for years to come.
A lot of the new software out there, there's this new shiny software, and they're working on different features, and it's like, oh, I remember when we ran into that problem back in 2019. There's just so much stuff in the nitty gritty to run your business. And there's even software companies that have bought other software companies, and the customer is using the old software that should be sunsetted and put to rest since it's not even being developed anymore. They won't switch to the new shiny software because those owners know better. See, you're in a situation where you have to be on software that works. And if you're using some of these new shiny software where they haven't solved all these issues over the last 7 years, you'd be like, well, how do I do this? I need to do this. And they'd be like, well, sorry, there's a workaround kind of. Our software is mature and we keep on adding on to it, making it even better. So I just want to thank you for being with us during the journey, and best of success in the future.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. To you too.
We've been able to help out hundreds of laundry services across the country. If you'd like to learn more about the Curbside Laundries wash and fold and pickup and delivery software solution, go to curbsidelaundries.com.